All right, when it comes to election denialism, I've been regularly saying that I am much more focused on the future than on relitigating 2020. But a new report makes clear that some of the past lies are particularly relevant today and likely going forward as well. Because many continue on this absurd crusade against voting machines. District by district, they're determined to have machines eliminated from the vote counting process, even though any remotely fair person who knows anything about the machines will tell you they are much more effective and trustworthy than counting ballots by hand. A 60 Minutes broadcast last night focused on Dominion voting systems and their ongoing litigation against Fox News and others who Dominion say defamed the company by implicating it in a plot to steal the election from Donald Trump. Now, I'm not bringing this up to comment on the merits of the lawsuit. I do want to focus on the human toll that some of these lies are still taking. Remember, former President Trump targeted Dominion repeatedly in the weeks and months after the 2020 election.
We have a company that's very suspect. Its name is Dominion. With the turn of a dial or the change of a chip, you can press a button for Trump and the vote goes to Biden. What kind of a system is this? We have to go to paper. Maybe it takes longer, but the only secure system is paper. In one Michigan county, as an example, that used Dominion systems, they found that nearly 6,000 votes had been wrongly switched from Trump to Biden.
Now, that's all nonsense, and any and every discrepancy has been accounted for. By the way, the 6,000 number was a human error, not a machine error that was quickly fixed before anyone noticed it. But now a number of Trump's allies and supporters have taken to issuing threats to the companies that make voting machines and to the people who work there. I'm not talking about just threats against the company on social media, the people who work there. During its report last night, 60 Minutes played stunning audio of company workers, random, everyday folks, receiving vile, disturbing threats, and this is the key, for absolutely no reason.
Every single person at Dominion is going to end up in an orange jumpsuit in handcuffs. You f***ing whores, you cheating f***ing pigs.
Yeah, good afternoon, scumbags. We're going to blow your f***ing building up, piece of f***ing shit.
Dominion CEO John Polis said the threats have now become a regular thing.
This is something that continues to happen every single day for us. Last Friday, we had an office on lockdown. 2 days prior to that, I was on a phone call with one of our employees, who's a mother of two, very upset and crying. It's hard to talk about.
Had something been said to her personally?
A very disgusting death threat in detail.
Received
on her personal cell phone.
These aren't political figures. They're not even school board members who've taken positions on controversial issues. Now, to be clear, no one deserves this, but this is pure insanity that Donald Trump and some of his allies have been spewing for the last 2 years. And as dangerous as the rhetoric is, this attack on voting machines carries some really serious implications for the future. Nye County in Nevada recently announced its plans to ditch machines in favor of a hand count. The county clerk is an election denier, believes that hand counts are the only secure method for tallying votes, and so each ballot will be examined and counted by multiple people in batches of 50, a process that figures to be incredibly time-consuming and less accurate, as has been made clear by every objective expert in the area, including neighboring Colorado's Republican executive director of the state's County Clerk Association, Matt Crane, who appeared on this show last week.
In my role, I've been very aggressive in going out since 2020 and talking about what's true, how our elections really work, and how people are misrepresenting or outright lying about what happens. But make no mistake, the people that are pushing these lies, they're no friends to transparency, they're no friends to the truth, and quite frankly, as a Republican, I can tell you they're no friends to the Republican Party either.
Now, the state's Supreme Court has just rejected part of Nye County's plan, but the key parts remain. Nye County will count its votes by hand on November 8th, and it will likely take them weeks, at least days, in an area with a population of over 50,000. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.